This video is a tutorial on the Bluebells of Scotland. Again, this is a 4/4 march, so 4 quarter notes to the measure. When you're thinking of counting each measure, just think 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And notice that in the first full measure, you have a high A grace note, high A doubling rather, on high A, and that high A is held for 2 beats. Notice that it's a half note, so it's 2 beats, and then you have, basically it's just a descending scale, but you're going to be striking the F very quickly. It's almost like a negative grace note. You're going to be striking the F very briefly on the way down from the G to the F. So here's what you're playing, and then with grace notes and doublings. And then in your next measure, you have what is, for many of you, a new doubling. That is the E doubling on another half note, and this time it's E. So descending from the F, the E doubling, as you've learned in class, is played. So you're playing a G grace note from F down to E, but then you're quickly picking up your F finger again to play an F grace note. So let's play that whole sequence. One more time. And from there, you're simply going back up to F for a quarter note, and then 2 eighth notes on G and high G and high A, down to C in the next measure, where you're going to be playing what's called a grip. And you've had this in class, and it's simply 2 C's separated by something that almost looks like a D throw. But you're going down to low G, just like you would start a D throw, and you're playing a D grace note on the low G, back up to the C. So here's what that grip looks like. One more time. And speed it up, it sounds like this. But for purposes of learning, I would really like you to play it slowly, like I did before. And then it gets a little tricky in that measure, because you're going to be going to a D throw. So you've got all of these things going on in this one measure. And then you're going to be playing an E grace note down to B. And then finishing with the last measure by playing a G grace note down to low A, which is another half note, so 2 beats. And then you're going to be playing what's called a burl. And I know you've had this in class. It's very hard to show a burl slowed down, but I'll try. So let me play the last 2 measures of that first line, and then we'll try and put it all together really slowly so that you can go over it with me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And remember, it ends on 3 because at the beginning of that part you had a pickup note, which was that E. So that's where you pick up that 4th beat, okay? So let's play that whole first line, and I'll play it very, very slowly so that you can analyze it as I play. Please look at the music. Play this, back the video up and play it as many times as you need to try and get this part down. 1, 2, 3. Then going into the second part, you'll notice that you're starting with 2 eighth notes. So you've got these descending eighth notes, E, D, down to a C doubling. And you've had C doubling in class, and all it is a G grace note followed by a D grace note on C. So you're following that up with an E grace note down to low A, but then you're playing a C doubling again. So it's really good C doubling practice. Here's what that measure sounds like. Let me play that again. So let me put together the pickup measure, the 2 eighth notes equaling 1/4 note or 1 beat. Let me play that pickup measure into the first full measure, and then we'll move on. Okay, let's back up a little bit. You saw in that pickup measure, in that first measure, your C doublings. Then you go in the second full measure up to another high A doubling, where you've got a dotted high A, meaning that you're holding it essentially for 1.5 beats. Okay, followed by a quick eighth note, down to F with an F doubling, high G to high A, 2 eighth notes. Then you've got this funny third measure where you're going from high G to E to F to D. And the way they're separating those notes is they're using a combination of G and a high A grace note. And you've had the high A grace note before. Let me play it from the pickup measure before, the 2 eighth notes before. Okay, let's put that whole line together. And then after that point, you're home free, because essentially you're back to what you did in the first part. Let me start from the E doubling in the last measure of the first line of the second part. So let me play that whole second part for you